And hello, you incredible friends. This is Edward here and Steph Gobraiel. How are you all today? And how you doing, Steph?
I'm good. How are you, Ed?
So good to be here, Steph. And I just want to ask you, do you think our viewers are absolutely amazing people, Steph? Because I most certainly do.
Absolutely. We wouldn't be here without them. So.
Exactly. Now, you and I obviously, I would call us business networking secrets, not necessarily because we're intelligent, but we are intelligent just because we've done it so very much. And tell us a bit about business networking, what you've got cooking next week, Steph.
Amazing. So, networking is one of the foundations that I speak to with my clients that they should be doing. So, I'm just, practicing what I preach, to be honest, Ed. And yeah, so next week I do have my meetup, my very first meetup
Hmm.
in Sydney on Wednesday, the 4th of, might be the 3rd of April. And it's a brunch. It's a business networking brunch. So if anyone, is too tight for time, either end of the day, come along and we'll put the link, I guess after this live in the comments.
Oof, yeah, and I'm very excited for your business networking event next week. And reach out to Steph if you want to come in. And I just want to go back a little bit and ask you, I'm going to ask some very basic questions for our legendary fans across the world. Why should we go business networking? What's the benefit of us attending business networking events?
Yep. So when we're in business, it's all about the long game, and the relationships
Mhm.
we build can make or break us. So it's really important to be building relationships, and it doesn't have to be specifically to, make that person a client or a customer of ours. It's to build that relationship so people know who you are, what you do, and that no like trust factor in, intro as well. So then that way they can recommend you if they're speaking to someone that they know will need your service or product.
Oh, very, very well said. And I love business networking. And of course, I run a lot of events myself. Now, I want to ask you, a lot of people say this to me, Ed, it's my first time coming to a business networking event. I'm nervous as hell. What's your advice to someone going to the networking event for the first time, be it yours or anyone's?
Yeah, so I always say be yourself. Look for the host or look for a friendly face that you can speak to, and don't be afraid to approach people. I think we all start somewhere, so it
True.
needs to feel like a safe space in order for people to really put themselves out there as well, Ed, and that's what we create as hosts, as you know.
Oh, just well said, Steph, and I think amazingly on point. And this reminds me now, I know I'm going to end up scaring everyone off business networking now, but I remember that funny story you told me about that networking event you went to. They were all guys there, and they just didn't like you too much. They didn't like the fact that you weren't white because you're an Arab like me, and they didn't like the fact you were a female. Tell us a bit about that experience. I think it was awesome.
You'll never let this one down, will you,
I
Ed?
love
But it's
it.
a
I love it.
but
It's
it's a
like
great
it's
learning
just like
curve, right? It's a
it's
great
like who's
learning
this
curve.
who's this non-white woman coming to our network and event? She don't belong here. Sorry, I'm a fellow Arab, so I'm allowed to make these non-PC comments. There you go.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I did. I went to this networking event and I thought, you know what? It's a good place to start. They're all business owners. And as I walked in the room, everyone looked at me like I was in the wrong room. And it was a bit awkward. And I was like, right, where's the drinks table? Because it can't get more awkward than that. But it just that vibe, when you walk into a room, you get a vibe, Ed, and it was
Yeah,
definitely that. And that vibe did not go away. So it wasn't just me being nervous. It was, yeah, it looked like I was in the wrong room. It did look like I was in the wrong room. And you learn, right? And then I never went back to that
yeah.
networking event because that was just a waste of time. And
Well, a bunch of misogynistic racists. Of course, you'll never go back.
pretty much.
Yeah, so I just have to be a shock jock and put labels on them, don't I? They don't just ignore you. They're misogynistic racists. It just sounds good, doesn't it?
And I think the bottom line, Ed, to anyone listening out there is we've all had an experience like that,
Yes.
and it shouldn't scare you off because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, when you're in the right room, it will not feel that
Yes.
way. It'll be like going
Yes.
to a friend's house.
Exactly. And I think you're right. I think when it comes to business networking, we have to find an event that fits our values and where they accept us for being who we are. Absolutely, Steph. I just want to ask you as well, Steph. Tell us a bit more about your event next week. Where is it? When's it on? And what's some of the detail as to how you're going to be running it?
Sure. So it's at Eden Gardens, which is North Ryde's borderline Macquarie, and there's ample parking. It's free. The event is free, and we're just asking that you buy lunch because it is a business brunch. And I will be providing a very light structure of how the lunch is going to run. And that's it, really. It's just to welcome business owners from near and far at a decent time in the middle of the day and just have some lunch and connect with other fellow business owners, really, Ed. That's all it is.
Brilliant. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to business networking, will ask me, Ed, how do I pitch my business? Because again, you might be very good in your business, you might be working for a company, or you might have a brand new business. So you're doing two things. You're not only learning how to network, you're also learning how to build your business. Steph, what are your tips for getting a really good sales pitch that works in a business networking event of yours or ours or anyone for that matter?
Look, Ed, it takes time and it takes a lot of practice. So don't think that you have to get it right. And if you are new to business, just say, I'm quite new to this. And people will they'll be understanding, they'll be accommodating of that. You don't need to be afraid because we all started some
Mhm.
at the end of the day, and no one's going to be getting the pitchforks out. And if they are, you're in the wrong room again.
There you
So
go.
so you need to be yourself and you just need
So,
to be
so, so,
honest. We're all human for Pete's sake,
so
right?
you went to the Pitchfork event. So when they saw you, she goes, "Her type ain't welcome around here." And they got the pitchforks put on the clan hoods and just went right after you, right? So there you
Yeah,
go.
and I ran, right?
Yeah, there you
I stayed, but then I ran for the hills, and that was like, okay, that was not a great, first
yeah.
networking event, and that's okay because that's how you learn. We're not going to get it right
Brilliant.
from the first time, right? Practice makes progress. So, to
Yeah.
anyone that's out there that's hesitating to go into a networking event, just be yourself, go and see what the vibe's like, and if it fits, great. You've got a place that you can go back to, and if it doesn't fit, I'm sure there's plenty of other networking events out there for business
Yeah.
owners.
Yeah, and just giving the tips to our wonderful audience. I was just on the phone to one of our new friends earlier. In
Mhm.
terms of great networking events, I mean, if you're in Ryde and Sydney, speak to Steph. We run business networking Zooms and we got meetups in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Canberra. And oh my God, we got Sushi with us, Miss Sushi. Big wave to Miss Sushi. We love you, Miss Sushi, watching over on Facebook. If you just come in, like, share, comment, and say hello. Miss Sushi made a good comment. She says practice makes perfect. Couldn't agree with you more. And Sushi just
I
sent
don't
some general
agree, Ed.
vibes.
I don't agree, Ed. I think
Oh,
practice makes
tell us.
progress. I think practice makes
Oh,
progress, right? Because that's a
oh,
really old saying, practice makes perfect, but you're constantly changing, what you're saying and who you're
yeah.
talking to. So I think if we can get the progress part, that's more important than trying to get it right. That's just my two
Ah,
cents.
well, I think progress creates perfection. Is that a fair comment?
No, because what your definition of perfection is might be very different to mine, Ed. So I
But
would
what
challenge.
if I believe I'm perfect? So I'm just splitting hairs here. Don't worry. I'm just splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I'm just being a dick. But anyway, we've got Sushi with us, Miss Sushi from Singapore. We love you, Miss Sushi. She's an amazing lady. If you just come in, like, share, comment, and love your work. And I was just going to mention as well, we've got our own business networking meetups. I'm also a big fan of business chambers. So originally, before I started running my own business networking events, I used to do really well out of business chambers. And to anyone watching across the world, there are amazing business chambers everywhere. Miss Sushi has said, all of us define perfection differently. There we go. So I love it. Now, I was just going to ask you, Steph, as well. Besides our events and your events, what are some of your other favorite business networks and where should people look?
Well, I went to a business chamber recently in my area, and that was great. The vibe was friendly, people were chatty. So I think you've just got to look for them, maybe even within your communities, your paid
Hmm.
communities. They usually have meetups as well. But I'm just hosting one in the middle of the day for people to get together. It's not about, making the money and that sort of thing. It's because I can't find another networking event in my area that takes place at lunchtime. So that's why I'm sort of giving back by hosting one as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good point actually in putting on my meetup hat here. There might be some of you out there where you don't like the business networking that you have. Start your own business networking event. I think it's been really good. I remember when I started my own, I think we had 8 people come to our first networking event years ago. It was awesome. And here we are today.
And we all have to start somewhere, right, Ed? So even if I get 10 people, even if I get 5 people next week, I'd be ecstatic, but I'm hoping for more. So, because we've had quite a few RSVPs as well. So we'll see how we go.
I reckon you'll get 20 to 30 people. That's a pretty legit. And I hope you prove me wrong. I hope you get way more, but I reckon you'll get 20 to 30 people. And that's all you need for a networking event, isn't it?
Oh, that's winning. Winning, Ed, for a first timer, winning.
Yeah. Now another one as well. Not that this is. I don't mean to whip up, gender politics here, but I remember one thing is you have a lot of women's networking and co-ed networking, right? So both our networking events are, for example, open to everyone. You also have women's-based networking, which of course is only available to women. It's a women's safe space. In short, now here's an interesting one. I used to have a very, very low opinion of women-based networking because I thought, hang on, why is gender relevant? Now I know what I know. I think having women's only business networking events is very important as I challenge my own assumptions. Tell us the benefits of women's only networking event and why it's good for some people.
I think, Ed, it depends if you're an introvert or extrovert, but I think it's easier for introverts to attend women-only networking events. But also, if you've had like an experience like I have, not that it's completely put me off, but it could put some people off, where you walk into a room and 90% of them are male and they look at you like you're in the wrong room. You're not going to really want to go back to a co-ed networking event soon. Right? And that could chase some women off. So there are a couple of reasons why, women will feel probably safer with just women. And, we've got to respect that. And that's absolutely fine. But I do think it's the vibe that the host creates for any networking event as to whether I think it could be a successful networking event or one where you want to run for the hills for. So
there we go. So don't go to networking events run by clan members, is what you're saying. Neither do I. Don't go to any clan members business networking event. There we go. Yeah. Do you love this whole story I've made? You just went to a chamber and had a bad experience, and I've turned it into you rocking into a clan meeting. There you go. Just sounds great. Yeah, like big Confederate flag and all that. Anyway, the other thing I was going to ask you as well, Steph, you're a powerful lady. Teach us about follow-up. We always hear the fortune is in the follow-up. Tell us how follow-up works in business networking and how you apply it for maximum success.
Yeah. Okay, so I think if you're going to verbally tell someone that you're going to follow up with them, I think it's really important that you do. Because if you don't, that will say something about you. So you might not see them there. You might run in different circles and run into that person, and you're not going to have the best impression of that person because they said they were going to follow up and they didn't.
Now, which means they're a liar. They're a liar and a traitor and they're fake news. Got it.
Exactly. And they're just saying it for the sake of saying it, right? But if you're genuine about building a connection with another business owner, then you need to follow up and you need to send the email and, connect with them and follow their work and take interest, because connections take time and you need to be genuine about it. And there's got to be a good synergy between the two of you as well.
Excellent. And do you think LinkedIn's way better than Facebook for following up?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. In fact, do you just think LinkedIn's better than Facebook?
We're going to get cut off.
Yeah. No, we're on Facebook. The Facebook will algorithmically promote our live stream and our Facebook connection will just mysteriously break. There we go. That's how it goes. There we go. I don't care about that. It's all good. Now, Steph, I got to say, very excited. I'm very honoured to be coming to your business networking meetup next week as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I can't wait to have you there, Ed, especially as my first. I'm excited, but I'm also nervous about it. So, having some familiar faces, I have a few others as well that are coming, will be incredible.
Ah, looking forward to it. And Steph, thank you so much. Just before we go, do you have any closing thoughts or pearls of wisdom or red pills you want to give our audience to keep them thinking and winning?
If if the networking you're doing is not working for you right now, find a different place to network.
Yeah.
And you will find your tribe. Does it take time? Hell yeah, it takes a lot of time, but don't give up and just keep looking because there are so many groups out there. That's it.
Including ours. So come to Steph's and come to Ed's networks anytime.
Absolutely. First and
There,
foremost.
there we go. Thank you so much, Steph. Thank you to our fans. Connect with us anytime. Like, share, comment. Love your work, Steph. And bye, everyone. Stay awesome. Bye, all. You're amazing.